Alright, hello and welcome back. This is the third tutorial that I am doing on just an intro to virtual reality development, specifically using the Steam Assets Package on Unity. For those of you who haven't seen previous videos, just note the version of Unity that I am using, and that this is December 2019, so if you're watching this like a year or 2 years from now, things might have changed. This field does move kind of fast. Um, One other quick little tidbit is right clicks are pink, left clicks are green. All right, so this is my Unity scene that I have started where I have a player. I have now a floor and a teleport plane, so I can move around. This is a little boring of a scene though. All I can do is teleport around on a single floor. So I want to add some more interactable things, and specifically I want a cube that I can toss and juggle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an object here. I'm just going to create a cube. All right, so now I have a cube. It is in my scene. Well, I mean, now I've just got a floating cube. There's nothing really exciting about that. So what I want to do as a player is that I want to be able to throw a cube. So I'm going to direct your attention over here on the right hand side. So a few little things. I mentioned before that this is all in the inspector here is basically the user-friendly version of code. So these are all public variables. So one fun one to play with is the size. So I can make my cube a little bit smaller. I could make it a lot bigger. I'm just going to keep it regular size for now so that it's really easy to see on your screen. And I'm going to add a component down here. So adding a component is basically, hey, I want to add some more code to this. I want to add more code files to this to change the interactivity. I encourage you, as you're going through these tutorials and as you're making your first scenes, to go to the component here and just sort of play around and look at all of the different options that are pre-made for you that you can play with. Because everything that I've learned and everything that I'm teaching you is something that I have played with and figured out. So I highly recommend doing that. Specifically, what we're going to do is we're going to type into the little search bar here because we want to look for a very specific code file called Throwable. And I'm just going to press enter. All right. So this actually adds on more than just the throwable script or the throwable code file. It adds on several. So the first one here is interactable. Interactable, then we also have rigid body. So interactable is just, hey, you can interact with this object. Pretty easy, good, clean names. Rigid body is physics. So falling rate, making sure that it has gravity, all that other good stuff. And then we have the throwable script itself. So now if I press play, and I'm gonna move over here so I can teleport right next to the cube. Oop, my face is in it. And I can reach in and grab it. And I can actually throw it, just like that. All right. So I can actually teleport a little closer and see if I can. This is a little hard to maneuver since I'm wearing this headset. Where did I throw it? Somewhere. All right. But you get the idea. I now have a throwable object that I can interact with, but I want more. I want more than just the one. So, and you know, the white is cool, but I'd rather have other colors. So I've already pre-made another folder. So this folder is called Materials. So I've got a picture of my cat in there. Now I'm just gonna go to create, and I'm gonna create some more materials. I'm gonna create red, and I'm gonna create green, and I'll create a blue as well, just for fun. All right, so now I have cubes of all different colors. Actually, I'm gonna rename the red one and make it a Potter one instead. All right. So we have 3 materials now, blue, green, and Potter. So basically my favorite colors. So if you go over here in the inspector, now that we have selected an object, it shows us again all of the user-friendly code. So there's 2 different options here for changing the color. I mean, obviously there's a whole lot more for being more specific. I'm not an artist, so I'm not really going to go into that. But the easy way is just with this color wheel. So I made this one blue, so let's go to a nice light blue. The other thing that you could do instead is that there's this little color dropper here. And as I go around, you can actually see it is changing the color that's in that color wheel depending on where I hover my mouse. So if you found a picture online or you're very specific about the color that you want, this is one option, is to click on this little tiny color dropper and then click on something. But because I am not an artist and not very particular, I'm just going to use the color wheel. I'll do the same thing for green real quick. And then I will have the color of Potter. And the way that I'm going to do Potter, so I've already drag and dropped this. This is just a JPEG image. You can also do a PNG image. Drag and drop it into this space here. So now I'm going to drag and drop it next to the word albedo, just in that little space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my cube here, and I just want to duplicate. And when you duplicate it, it not only duplicates the shape, but it also duplicates all of that other code. So now all 3 of these are going to be throwable cubes. So I'm going to make this one green. I'm going to duplicate this one more time. And I'm just going to push it back so that there's plenty of room. So I'm going to make my Potter cube. Oh, and my blue cube. There we go. So now I have 3 different cubes of 3 different colors. Obviously the cutest one is the one with the cat. The last thing that I want to show you that's really cool with the throwable is just to basically show you a little bit of the interactivity that you can do with this. And it's where you see this on pickup, on detach from hand, and on held update. So all 3 of these are public methods. Methods meaning that it's going to run this line of code whenever you obviously pick it up, or when the cube leaves your hand, or so long as you hold it. So just to show you a little bit how to use this, I'm going to add another component to this blue cube here. And I'm going to add one that I already know exists, which is particle system. So it's going to create those ugly particles. And I'm going to go over here and say, I'm going to unclick the play on awake. Now you could do this with a lot of things. You could do this with audio files. You could do this with other scripts that you have. Maybe you want a door to open when a player picks something up, or something to happen when they solve a certain puzzle. So this is a really versatile and a really good thing to use. So by deselecting play on awake, I'm basically saying, hey, when you start the scene, don't start the particle system. But I want it to start when I pick up the cube. So the way that I'm going to do that is click on the little plus sign here. All right, so it says runtime only, meaning only do it when it's running the actual scene. I've got the blue cube highlighted. That's the one with the code that I want on it. So I'm going to drag that over here. And so now it says no function, but when I click on this drop-down menu, this is all of the basically code. So you can see it's got my throwable there, and it's got my rigid body there. So I'm going to go to particle system, and I'm going to say, hey, play. So basically when you pick up the cube, it's going to run, and it will play the particle system. So let's hope that I didn't lie. All right, so now you can see clearly I've got my cubes. There is no particle system right now, but if I reach into this cube, I now have my particle system. All right. And that is it for this tutorial.